Hey there, Patriots. Welcome back to Front Lines. Death Watch here to give you guys more intel so you can update your personal arm rate and fight back against the fake news media machine. And today we're going to be looking at Andy No, who has won over $300,000 in damages because of the Portland attack. Okay. He was successful this time, right? In my last video covering, this whole trial, he was suing at least five people, right? I think it was in total five people were being sued for the very same thing, right? An attack in 2019 where he was brutally beaten by a bunch of Antifa. I think it was mainly the Rose City Antifa chapter that has a stranglehold over, the left wing militant violence, political violence in Portland, Oregon, right? And so in 2019, he was attacked by a group of people. I believe one of the individuals in the earlier trial was a part of this earlier group in 2019 that was attacking him. However, he was found not liable, right? And then a lady who was filmed was part of a group who was, security footage showed that they were attacking him, and followed him, chased him down the road into a hotel room, and then proceed to threaten him while he was taking cover in the hotel. Somehow they weren't found liable, but these three were. Okay, so the court ruled in favor of Post Millennial senior editor Andy No on Monday in his civil trial against the remaining three alleged Antifa defendants that had physically attacked him in June of 2019. Okay, defendants Corbin, Catherine, I'm not going to pronounce this right, Bellier, Madison, Denny, Lee Allen, and then my boy, Sandwich, Overkill Scott Deputy, right, were found liable by Judge Sinoplasi for assault, battery, and intentional infliction of emotional distress. Each defendant had been ordered to pay No $100,000 each in damages, right? So, big cash out from these three people that, hey, pay up. It's time to pay the piper. This court hearing was held in a virtual setting at Multnomah County Courthouse on Monday after the three defendants were found in default on July 14th by the pre-trial judge for not responding to No's complaint, which is why they did not appear at the civil trial during held earlier this month. Right. Again, he originally had to sue two of the five people that he was trying to, bring an entire case against. However, the first two, somehow wasn't found liable, but these three were, right. And I think mainly because of, again, this trial was held virtually, right. I think this is said right here, a virtual setting, and so we're gonna get into that because the issue with the first two individuals he was trying to sue was mainly the attorney was openly saying that, hey, she is Antifa and that she will remember the jurors' faces, right? And then people of the jury, right, reported by Post Millennial, some people in the jury were openly saying that they are afraid of being doxxed, right? Which is a case, something that we have seen time and time again when it came to the Kyle Rittenhouse case, right? We also seen it during the Derek Chauvin case because of the trial for George Floyd. People were caught trying to take pictures of the jury members, right? And even with the Kyle Rittenhouse case, a person was caught running red lights trying to follow the bus that was sent to pick up the jury members, right? So it's all around the tactics of left-wing militant fascists. Okay, they like to sit here and say we're anti-fascist, but again, I like to say this a lot. Don't listen to what people say. Look at what they do. When you look at what Antifa does, they claim that they're anti-fascist, but their tactics is all but fascist, right? Using intimidation, leaking people, private citizens' information in order to seek them out and harass and attack these people, right? We saw it all the time, all throughout 2020 during the Black Lives Matter riots, okay? You saw how they acted. You saw how they went after people. You saw how they tried to harass people and destroy their businesses, right? You can't sit here and say you're anti-fascist, but yet you're out here attacking, innocent civilians. It's not how it works, buddy. Defendants Belial, Allen, and Scott Deputy were alleged involved in the June 29th attack on No in 2019, where he was brutally beaten by a mob of alleged members of Rose City Antifa while reporting on an event in Portland, Oregon. Right, this was the huge brawl between Antifa, Proud Boys, and I think it was another right wing group. I think it was a pro Christian group, but essentially Antifa was getting their butts handed to them, right? Yeah, you got tons of videos of people just cracking Antifa members across the face, right? funny stuff, right? Funny, terrific stuff. Okay. This attack received national attention and most commonly referred to as the milkshake incident, where these people were saying, "Oh, you know, um, one thing about the whole craziness that Antifa likes to play, they like to play a lot of games here, right? And left wing media outlets love to play this game too and run cover for Antifa, right? You had Vice News, who openly made a video where they're like, Antifa is just a myth, right? But yet at the same time, they were covering Antifa, and people were saying that no, Antifa is huge. They have several chapters all around America and in different countries, right? This is what we do. This is all the crap we do. And it's like, dude, you're not going to sit here and run defense for Antifa while openly trying to say they're a myth, while the people you're interviewing is saying that, oh, no, this is what we are. This is what we do. This is the type of tactics that we have done, right? And there's plenty of videos of these people wearing the exact same uniform, wearing the the Antifa banner, right? The socialist sickle and hammer banner as well, and going out and committing acts of what I call domestic terrorism, right? Get out of here with that bull crap. Okay. One thing they like to do with the whole milkshake thing is that they'll go around, and what they first used to do was say, hey, punch somebody, punch a right winger in the face, right? Punch a fascist in the face, right? Then they started, when people started saying, no, if you do that, that's assault. And if somebody then decides to beat the living crap out of you for assaulting them, it's going to be hard for you to, try to run defense for that. So what they started doing is, okay, well, we're just going to throw, liquids in people's faces, right? They go around throwing water on Trump supporters if they see you wearing a MAGA hat or they know you're a right winger. They'll throw water on you, to throw liquids on you, right? And you don't know what's in that liquid. It could be spit, could be other types of bodily fluids or even chemicals, right? You don't know what they're tossing on you. But then when you get upset and you say, "Hey, that's assault," they'll say, "Well, it's just a bunch of water, buddy. It's just liquids. It's just a milkshake, bro. It's just water. What are you, lactose intolerant?" Stuff like that. And it's like, no, throwing a liquid or anything at somebody, or even ripping articles of clothing off somebody's head, even if it's a hat that you disagree with, that's still considered assault. But then again, they like to play these games of, well, it's not really assault. It's just water. You're just a snowflake because I tossed a liquid on you, right? Or I took your hat. You're just a snowflake. And then, of course, when you do the same thing to them, well, then it's a hate crime, okay? Video of this brutal attack was submitted to court by No's attorney Dorothy Yamamoto as evidence during the hearing. Right, this popular video that been circulating on Twitter for years now. Right, ever since 2019 of Annie No being attacked. The investigative journalist who's most famously known for reporting on Antifa and far left extremism testified that attack had caused him significant emotional distress, trauma, which impacted his ability to work in the field as a ground reporter. Right. Because of this attack, I think he had a brain aneurysm, right? And what he's now saying that the after effects of this attack has left him with cognitive, disabilities, right? I think one time when he was on the Tim Cass RRL, he openly said that, he just randomly loses motor function, right? He was holding a drink in his hand, and then his hand just, went limp, and he dropped it, right? And other stuff like post-traumatic stress disorder and short-term memory issues right here. Okay. So he openly said, he posted the damages. We're going to skip over that. Skip over this too. But overall, right, what happened during the case, he comes out with a, statement saying that, at the hearing today regarding three defaulted Antifa defendants in my No versus Rose City Antifa lawsuit, the court heard evidence about the brutal June 29, 2019 beating I suffered at Rose City Antifa event where I was seriously injured. The court found that I was indeed battered and assaulted by Madison Denny Lee, Catherine Corbin, and Sandwich Overkill Scott Deputy. Right, the court awarded me $300,000 to be split equally among these three attackers. No wrote. Goes on to thank his attorney Dorothy Yamamoto, and I will remain determined to hold Antifa and its members accountable for their violent attacks. Right. During the court hearing, the defense attorney for defendant Scott Deputy Cliff Davison had filed a motion to set aside an order for default, asking for Scott Deputy to be tried before a jury. Davison argued that his client was unable to respond to the order to appear in court due to living in a homeless encampment across the street from the courthouse and serving prison sentences in both New York and Oregon at the time he had been served. So all around, you know, he won, right? At the end of the day, he won. However, I got to quickly take this off screen here. look at these individuals, right? While I try to scroll past, because there's a guy with pictures of a guy with his head kind of like bashed from the Antifa attack, where they took like hard plywood, right, and proceeded to attack him. He had like several gashes over his head, and YouTube's gonna be like, oh, you can't show that, but that's clearly violence, right? But when you look at the type of people who get arrested in Portland, right? These are the type of people that Antifa recruits, right? This is the type of people that left wing extremists recruit. People who clearly have no sense of purpose in life, right? I like to refer to these people as demons, right? Not as the mythical or biblical sense of demons. I say these people are demented souls who have no purpose in life, right? Outside of being in a constant state of hell, okay? And the only way that demons know how to, ease their pain is by dragging other people to share that type of, that endless torture, right? Essentially, right? I mean, just look at these people, okay? These are people who clearly don't have a life. They don't have a life. They don't have any purpose in life. And the only way that they can find any type of meaning is through violence, right? And through violence into forcing other people, right? Recruiting other people to see the world as they see and live in the same perpetual hell. And if you are a person that simply pushes back on them and say, no, you guys are crazy. You guys clearly are individuals who don't need to be around the average American. Well, then guess what? They're going to assault you with violence, right? Because how dare you push back against them? How dare you not see the world as a perpetual hell as they see it, right? It's crazy. And so, just finishing wrapping this up, right? These are the first two individuals that he tried to sue. And my whole theory as to why the jury didn't find these two liable, despite the fact with this picture right here, it's clear as day right here. Allegations Elizabeth Rennie Richard, right, the lady. According to No's complaint, on May 28, 2021, Richard allegedly followed No into the Nines Hotel before she was kicked out by the hotel staff, right? While outside the hotel, Richard was allegedly heard screaming on video, "I can't wait for you to come out, Andy. And you thought the milkshakes were bad last time. We're going to, beat the F out of you," right? However, somehow the jury did not find, what she had taken part of as enough for to be sued for emotional distress, right? Assault and emotional distress somehow, right? And this guy right here, I think, approached Annie No in a gym and even got kicked out of the gym because he's approached Annie, stole his phone away from him. The members of the gym had to come in, intervene, tell him to give him back his phone, and then kicked him out, right? Took his membership and kicked him out of the gym. And the jury also didn't find this guy liable for the exact same things, even though they admitted, said, yeah, I did take part in these acts. Crazy. And my theory is because, with the whole situation saying that, judge had informed that the two counsels, that jurors had expressed concerns about being doxxed and had alleged to the court that people had been trying to find out their identities during the trial. Okay. Again, something that I said back during the Derek Chauvin trial and during the Kyle Rittenhouse trial. People were trying to figure out and stalk who these jury members were, right? Because that's, again, what these extremists love to do. However, with this case here, with these two, they showed up. They showed up to trial. First of all, they showed up to trial, so the jury members were there, and their attorney was openly caught saying that she is Antifa, and that in a different context that she will remember the jurors' faces, right? And outside of the courthouse, right, during this trial, a person who I think worked for the Post Millennial, or she worked for a different news outlet, who was covering, right? She was covering Annie No's case. Her entire car had the windows bashed out, doors ripped open, and all her crap, all her belongings in the car were taken and stolen or scattered around on the floor, on the ground. Excuse me. So it's clear that this is severe harassment, right? Portland is in some case controlled by Antifa, and so during this case, the jurors were clearly like, "Hey, we kind of feel scared here, so we're most likely going to vote in the way of, hey, these people are not liable for those things that are clear on video that they took part in, right?" However, with the first three, the second three people, they didn't show up, right? They didn't, they didn't show up to court. Okay, it was all held virtually. So it was easier for them, the jury, to, in the safety of their possibly their own houses, to just sit in a room, listen to the trial, Drew, a webcam or whatever, however they did it, and so it's probably a more, a better sense of security, right? For them, so they can then vote in the way that, hey, what benefit any no. It could be, possibly could be a theory. But at the end of the day, he won, right? He got the damages that, that he deserved, right? He got what he deserved. These people are hopefully going to be, I don't know what's going to happen to these people. Clearly, again, you saw how one person is living in a homeless encampment, right? So clearly, these are people who are lost souls, like lost souls who have no real purpose in life other than to go out and cause mayhem, violence, and try to drag as many people with them into the hellscape that they all live in. Okay, that's just Portland, Oregon for you, right? And many of these other hard left Democrat cities. Okay, so with all that being said, like, share, subscribe, stay safe, stay sane, be vigilant, and I'll see you Patriots on the battlefield.